Welcome to Unfiltered, Pixel Pro Audio's weekly show. Today we'll be listening to and talking more about the Warm Audio WA-251. Hello, welcome back around the drum. I'm Tay, this is David, and that's Jay. And today we have sound samples of the Warm Audio WA-251. Jay, tell us quickly about its history and where this mic came from and what it is.
Okay, this is a clone recreation of the original Telefunken 251 microphone, Elam 251.
Okay.
Which was produced in the 60s. It's considered a very excellent sounding microphone. Very rare. Not very many of them left. When they come up for sale, they're $25,000 to $40,000.
Okay.
So most people aren't going to spend the money on that. It's not worth it. So Warm Audio came out with this recreation, and we're going to kind of hear it today and discuss it.
Okay, before we get into that, David, kind of tell us what's inside it, what do they make it out of, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, first off, they start off with a brass capsule, a CK12 style. They tried to get that capsule as close as they possibly could to the original. And then they've got a high-quality JJ tube in there. It's a tube mic, and the tube is the soul of the microphone, so they've got to go with something decent. And then in line at the very end, it's got the Cinemag transformer just to polish it off.
Okay, cool. We've got some sound samples for you. We have an acoustic guitar, and then we have a clean guitar through an amp, and then we have 3 different voices. So check those out.
This is David with Pixel Pro Audio. Today we are testing the Warm Audio WA-251. One of my favorite albums is 2112 by Rush.
I'm Taylor with Pixel Pro Audio, and this is the WA-251. And one of my favorite albums of all time is Meantime by Helmet, 1992. Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ben with Pixel Pro Audio, and this is the Warm Audio WA-251. One of my favorite albums is Young Mountain by This Will Destroy You.
All right, guys, let's talk about this. I was super impressed with this microphone when we got it, more so than I even expected to be. I love its clarity, its translation. I thought it represented everyone who talked into it. I thought it represented their voices very, very well. It's got this kind of creamy smoothness to it.
He's stealing my words.
No, you have a better word for it that you'll probably say. But
I had a whole bunch of words for it.
I just think it's very, very mirror-like. It's so like it is what you put into it, but with smoothness and creaminess.
So not what you put into it.
Well, it is, but it almost sounds better than actual. So anyway, I love it. It sounds great. But Jay, what do you think of it?
Well, today before we came up here, we hooked it up at your suggestion with the Focusrite ISA preamp, and I thought that was a good idea because I wanted to hear the different. I wanted to hear it with different impedances. And I listened to our sound samples first, and then I listened to me talking into it with there's a headphone jack on the ISA preamp, which is awesome for doing tests like this because you're just hearing the microphone then and the little amp or whatever that's in the ISA. But I was really impressed with how it sounded, and I wouldn't just say that either. I was pretty impressed with how it sounded, especially with the ISA preamp. I think that's actually a really good combination for this microphone. I mean, maybe that's true of every microphone, but this one in particular,
I think you're right.
I made him listen to it. Did you listen to it with the different? And then I made other people downstairs listen to it.
Yeah.
And when you start out on the low impedance settings, it has this sort of not as present sound. It's a little bit more natural sounding, I would say. Maybe a
bit more open.
I don't know if I'd say that.
Okay.
And then
maybe?
As you went up, the next setting is the ISA setting. As you went up, like there was more airiness and presence to it, but without sounding harsh or weird or anything. Even on the highest impedance setting, I thought I can see using this on various things, especially like if you got a nice open mix, like with an acoustic guitar and just acoustic instruments. Like that a vocal would really stand out really well with that setting. So I was pretty impressed with it. I couldn't compare it to an original. Sure. I've only heard one a couple times, like where I was in the room and I heard the microphone. So I couldn't compare it to that, but on its own, just as its own microphone.
Yeah, describing it.
It sounds. What word did you like? I said buttery.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. It sounds.
That's what I was waiting for.
Sounds buttery, smooth, creamy. It's got a really nice round low end and a really airy top end. I really like it.
Yeah, picture the finish. That's what it looks like.
That's what he said.
Like a buttercream sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, David?
So I heard it originally. We plugged into the Audient ID14.
And that's what we did with all of our sound samples?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. We wanted to do something that people would have easy access to. Like not everyone has an ISA preamp. Not everyone has. We had a warm audio preamp. We were going to try out the 12, and we just decided to go with the Audient because it was easy access for a lot of people, and I thought that sounded amazing. The thing I didn't like about that combination was the Audient preamps have a lot of low end extension, which is great, but with that particular microphone, it tends to build up in the low end. So on the plosives, it really saturated. And
yes, and if you guys had noticed, we did have plosive action in those samples. We should have had a pop filter, but we were actually talking past the microphone even, but we should have put a pop filter.
And I will say that
filter
I
up.
did not notice that problem when I was using it with the ISA preamp.
Right.
At all, and I was
right.
talking directly into the microphone.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I heard that combination, this with the ISA, I noticed that the ISA tends to clean up the low end a lot, and this microphone has a lot of low end because the tubes have that low end buildup, and then
I noticed a ton of proximity effect when I was talking into that microphone. Like just backing away a few inches made a really big difference in how much low end there was.
It really builds up, but the ISA cleans it up nicely, and it makes it cut, and it still sounds really smooth. I loved it. I thought that was a great combination.
Yeah, the ISA with this microphone sounded unbelievable. I wasn't even ready for that. And then when I heard it, I was like, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
My voice actually had a low end to it, whereas I'm more of a mid range type of voice, and I could hear all the range of my voice, and I was surprised at that. Jay, quickly, I got a question for you, or both of you. Like, can you use this, or should you use this microphone for everything involved in a project? Like,
I wouldn't, not because it would sound bad, but I kind of like to use different microphones for different things so that you get some tonal some different characteristics and tonality. And to me, this would be my go-to vocal microphone. Like that with the ISA or even another preamp that has a lot of impedance selection. I think you could make this microphone work really well for male vocal, female vocal. And so I would save like that really buttery, creamy high end for that so that it really would stand out in a mix.
And you'd use something else for guitars, drums, instruments.
Right. And ironically, in our sound samples, my favorite sounding thing was probably the electric guitar, but I would probably not ever use this microphone on that, even though it sounded really good.
I think I would because it sounded really good.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. That was my favorite sample.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So I I would use it on vocals too, for sure, but I would also use it on clean guitar.
I mean, I'd start to worry if you're using it on vocals and guitar and you're getting that high-end conflict.
You'd have to do some impedance stuff to change it up a little bit. But
sure.
Okay. You guys have anything more to say about this mic?
As usual, you're wrong and I'm right. Okay. Oh, sorry, what?
I was just wondering if you guys had any more to add about this. I mean, we just got our hands on it. We opened it up and we tried it out. So these are our initial thoughts.
I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. I kind of, with clones, some of them it's like, okay, yeah, I guess that kind of sounds like that thing. But with this, maybe because I didn't have as much of an expectation because I'm not as familiar with the original, I was kind of like, pretty blown away by it.
When he says something like that, it's real. Like,
You won't hear me say that about everything.
No,
we're going to talk about the Aston Stealth in our next episode. Probably, you're going to hear me say similar things about that microphone. I would just say that, but you're not going to hear that often from me.
Right.
No.
And soon we will want to do a comparison like with this AB something like with this with the WA-47.
That'd be awesome.
Even like something something similar to this.
I would like to compare this to a TLM 103. That's
Sure,
going to be
yes.
a point.
Yeah.
That's going to be a point of reference. A lot of people understand, and this is cheaper. And I would go with this mic all day long. And we sell the TLM 103. I've owned one. I like them. They're great mics. But I would go with this all day long over that.
Yeah. So I think we definitely need to do that, get our hands on similar microphones, maybe similar price ranges, and see and kind of just say, hey, this is what they sound like. Maybe this is what they're better for. This one, like you said, I would use it on vocals or singing or voice.
If I was going to do an acoustic guitar track with no vocals, I would totally.
Because all those samples, I love those. They sounded great. But I guess that's why I asked you the question, like, can you compound this microphone with different instruments?
You
and
probably
voice
could. I would
altogether?
definitely. Okay, fine. I agree with you. I would probably definitely try it. Just to see what happens.
You heard it here. I was right. He was wrong.
Yep.
Take it back.
So this we have now. It's shipped $7.99, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, man, we were kind of blown away. It kind of exceeded our expectations. So, and we will probably try to bring you more information on this in comparison to other things. And if you have any questions about it, please feel free to write them. We had questions about this already, so we're trying to.
And one of them was, please give us sound samples. So
Yes.
we kind of hastily threw this together for you so that you could get a first hear of it.
Yeah.
And I would really like to do more with it later on.
So if you guys have any
would. It'd be
suggestions
fun.
or tell us what you want to hear it on, and we can try to do that as much as possible. So, thanks for watching, guys, and look for us next time around the drum.
Okay,
You want to bring your mic a little bit closer to you?
Just a little higher. Just a little higher.
There you go. It's better.
Oh, I'm going to ask you a question.
Just ask it.
I will.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Howdy.
Oh my God, we gotta start over.
We gotta start over.
Okay, I like that.
That's pretty good.
That was so
All right, that's good. I'm done. I'm out of here.
I can put some.